Delta Force is a game I've been keeping a close eye on. I've been playing it off and on here and there, kind of jumping in and playing because I've really enjoyed this Battlefield-like game. It takes basically everything that was good from 2042 and makes it into like a good Battlefield game. And it's been really fun. It can get a little hectic, but it's fun for sure. The extraction mode, I think, is a perfect blend of casual and hardcore shooter, which no other extraction shooter is doing that. So it's doing a fantastic job. So I've been really kind of invested with what's happening with this game because I would like to see it pop off, because it's a great alternative to what Battlefield is doing, where for me, last few years of Battlefield haven't really captured that feeling that I've loved about the game. And so I want to see this game succeed and do well, because competition leads to innovation and benefits the consumer, aka the players. But Delta Force was hit with some really tough news, and it makes me concerned whether or not this game is going to be able to be a sustainable project moving forward, because they are missing out on a huge audience of players that they were saying that they were going to release the game for, and they recently made the announcement that it's not going to happen, at least in the near future. And with the recent release of the Black Hawk Down campaign, you know that this was supposed to release along with the console as well as like a big huge update, but now it seems like it's only going to be just for PC, just for now. And with the next Battlefield game coming right around the corner sometime in 2025, possibly early 2026, really just depending when GTA 6 decides to release, the window to take advantage of this player base that isn't being satisfied with large-scale military-like gameplay might be missing the mark a little bit with the recent news. So what's happening with Delta Force? What's the campaign going on with that? When are we going to see a console release and everything in between? So if you guys want to know more, make sure you stay tuned at the whole video to understand all the details. In the recent video here by Shadow, who is I believe the community manager over at the Delta Force team there, talked about a roadmap and what the future is looking like for Delta Force. And they mentioned here specifically, you take a look at the roadmap here, it's missing one very large key component to the success of Delta Force, and that's the console release. And they made the announcement within this video that it's not happening, at least for the near-time future. Originally, it was planned for the Q1 of 2025. As we get really close to the end of Q1, they made the announcement that, yeah, it's not happening anytime soon. And oftentimes when you announce a delay, you go like, okay, well, we're going to give you a time frame when we do expect the game to release, but they didn't even do that. They just said the console release is delayed, which is rather concerning. That like, we don't even know if we can release it this year. At least that's the kind of messaging I get from that. And if that's going to be the case, it's going to be really difficult when you have to compete directly with a game that has a very long legacy of people playing that game, being Battlefield, especially with the next game looking to be a heavy hitter, being based off of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 gameplay. It's going to carve out a huge chunk of the player base for Delta Force, which the player base for Delta Force has actually been very steady, surprisingly steady. Normally when a game releases, you see like a big curve of kind of like a dip of player base starting out the game and then kind of losing interest and falling off. Well, has not been the case for Delta Force, as in, you know, when the all-time peak is at 131,000 people on Steam, and then your current player base as at the time of making this video is 96,000 with 24-hour peak, really about that same. So it's been pretty much since the game is released that it's stayed right at its current level of population, which is really impressive because, well, the game is just kind of fun. And Delta Force has a really high production value. You can tell that when you play this game, like, yeah, this is something that's like AAA level quality, especially with the recent release of the campaign for this game, which helps kind of bring in that casual audience, people who might not want to play PvP directly right away, but then maybe want to get into playing the game in multiplayer if they really enjoy the campaign. It's a great way to get the casual audience into the atmosphere and ecosystem of what Delta Force has to offer. But if you don't have that console audience right there, you're missing out on a huge chunk of players, especially since on console, there really are no other Battlefield-like games that can really satisfy that niche. Like even Call of Duty tried to do that, and they recently cut that out because like, okay, well, it's just too much for us to try to do a Battlefield-like mode, where Delta Force is doing that in a fantastic way. In this video, Shadow did mention about some of the major reasons why the console release has been delayed, saying that they're looking for a fair balanced aiming experience, because right now you've built up this PC player base, and once you add in controllers, and if you see aim assist become an issue, well, then that's going to really deter players from playing. And we've seen this happen a lot with like Call of Duty and Halo and other kind of games that kind of become like controller games, but you also don't want the game to be a mouse and keyboard game like you see with like Counter-Strike or something like that, right? So there is definitely a balance to make. They also talked about like UI optimizations and operations mode as well when it comes to just refining the experience to make sure it can actually run properly on consoles, where again, like you said, you have proper balancing and also have it function correctly, because this is a rather large scale game mode, right? Like its maximum is like 64 players. The fidelity is pretty good on it as well, not too crazy, but the game does look good. But they talked about the console release saying that the team is committed to delivering a polished console experience and won't release an unfinished version. A detailed roadmap will be shared soon, providing periodic updates on progress and completed tasks. That sounds like a lot of extra work is needed when it comes to the console release. And again, once the later you push this date, the closer you get to Battlefield, which is the last thing you want to see happen when it comes to a game like Delta Force. We see this happen with other major games out there, like say like Titanfall, when we released reading between like I believe Battlefield and Call of Duty within like a week of itself. Like release windows and release timeframes remain alike, especially with direct competitors such as Battlefield. Now in this video, they also mentioned things about improving kill cams. They also talked about gear caps for operations. Also releasing a few night mode versions of maps, which can be pretty exciting there as well. Talking about fixing up the game so that it addresses any kind of performance issues that you might be having. For me, the games have been running very well. I haven't had any issues with it, honestly. And also talking about progression-wise with operations, and that there won't be any. So it's really good information to have when it comes to, say, like the operations mode, which if you haven't played operations in Delta Force, give it a go. Like if you miss playing DMZ and Tarkov, it's too much of a game for you, check out Operations in Delta Force. It's actually a lot of fun. That's kind of my main thing I like to play on the game. But I'm also a Battlefield fanboy, so I definitely like to dabble in with the large-scale game modes as well. Sooner rather than later is an optimal time right now when it comes to releasing the console version of Delta Force, because right now, if you just look at the Xbox most played games, you see I believe this is like top 50 or top 48 games you see on here. For that, I'm not quite sure how they do make this measurement, but it is rather accurate from my experience in tracking this about how popular various games are. And you don't see Battlefield on here at all. I mean, I've seen like Battlefield 5 a couple times pop up on here, but on the top 50 games on Xbox, there is nothing. And there is no like military large-scale warfare unless you're talking about like a battle royale like PUBG or something like that. Everything else, like that whole market of players, is just completely unsatisfied right now. And this is where Delta Force can really take advantage. But you would have to fully suspect, even with the strong numbers on PC we've been seeing with Delta Force, right? You're going to see a significant dip once the next Battlefield game releases. Now, again, like when it does release, it's up in the air right now, currently slated for 2025, but I'm sure everyone's waiting for when GTA 6 makes its announcement, if it is going to release this year, and if it does, what's the time window, because it's literally going to like affect the entire gaming industry once GTA 6 releases. Now, a huge advantage that Delta Force recently just added to their game is a campaign, and we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video, because right now when it comes to Battlefield games, they tend to miss the mark quite a bit when it comes to a campaign. Like I remember when I heard the news that 2042 is going to be shipping without a campaign, I was actually excited about it because I've never felt like a campaign was necessary for a Battlefield game. I felt like it was always very multiplayer first kind of experience, right? When it comes to like Conquest or Rush or anything like that. And the campaigns have always felt like they've been leaving a lot to be desired and almost like wasted development time, in my opinion. I never played a campaign that felt like it was that exciting or that fun to play. And the benefit that Delta Force has over the campaign that will most likely come with Battlefield 2025, if it doesn't have this, again, we're still waiting for it to be confirmed, is that Delta Force's campaign is actually co-op. You can actually play this right now on PC for free as well, co-op on campaign, which I think is a credible option to have for players, right? And if you are watching this video right now, I'm actually currently live streaming the campaign right now, and I am playing with viewers who want to jump in and play. So if you guys want to follow, make sure to subscribe to the channel, stuff like that. Catch the live stream that's live right now if you're watching this video as soon as it goes up. I'll definitely be playing through this campaign because I'm definitely excited about it. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see what the co-op mechanics are like and everything like that. Might even make a review video about it. If you guys want to see that, make sure to leave a like in this video as well. But this is where I think the advantage that Delta Force really actually does come in, because I couldn't imagine like a really engaging type of campaign when it comes to the next Battlefield game. Like, yes, the last two Call of Duties that Advanced Pella worked on, which were Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2, fantastic campaigns, right? And also you had Titanfall, fantastic campaign. But then you had Apex Legends, no campaign, just multiplayer side of things. And being a Battlefield game, it definitely delivers a different type of storytelling for sure. And that's where I think Delta Force really has the opportunity to take advantage of this kind of opportunity for people looking for like a kind of more arcadey yet grounded in realism type of experience right here. I'm gonna jump in and play. I'm very excited about this, and I want to see a game like Delta Force succeed and do well, and really take advantage of like this opportunity that they have with the open window of the players who love Battlefield, but kind of just missing out on something that's kind of new, active, and fun to play right now. So, I mean, again, timing is of the essence right now when it comes to Delta Force. I'm just kind of concerned seeing that the console release is being heavily delayed, and we're not given any time of release window anytime soon. Makes me a little concerned that like if this game's going to flop once the next Battlefield game comes out. But I guess we won't really know until that actually happens. But I'll keep you guys updated with that kind of information. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you like, maybe even a subscribe. And if you want to know who the real ones are that made it to the end of the video, leave a green heart in the comments. I do like all those comments and try to reply to all those as well. Thank you all for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. Peace out.